You're listening to the Kirkintilloch Herald, a Q&A review recording service podcast, brought to you by our team of volunteers currently recording from their homes across Scotland. Whether you're listening via the BWBF online players, the telephone app, or our brand new Alexa skill, please phone us on 0141 772 3976 to feedback on what you want us to provide and improve upon. Please also join your family and friends in being our audio ambassadors and share our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram all at Q&A Review. That's at symbol CUEANDREVIEW.
The Kirkintilloch Herald, date Wednesday the 5th of October 2022, as read by Alan, Corey, Hunter and Ian. Huge £2.1 million deal. Council has agreed £2.1 million of funding. East Dunbartonshire Council has agreed an additional £2.1 million in a support package to address the current cost of living crisis. Speaking after the meeting, Councillor Leader Gordon Lowe explained, "We highlighted back in June that the cost of living crisis alongside the climate emergency were the two greatest concerns facing our communities. Having outlined our renewed priorities, we have already provided additional payments to thousands of our most vulnerable families by doubling the school clothing grant payments for this year. But the current crisis needs greater support, and this multi-million pound package is a further demonstration of our commitment to our communities in these challenging times. The full £2.1 million is funded from the Council's Prudential Reserves, £1.5 million, and Housing Revenue Account, £0.6 million, and will deliver the following: an additional £200 winter support payment for each eligible child, £100 in October and £100 in December, and costing approximately £454,600. Additional farm foods vouchers to support those families in extreme short-term need with food provision, costing £2,000. An additional £210,000 to address the projected overspend for the Scottish Welfare Fund as a result of unprecedented demand. Energy vouchers for council tenants and homelessness cases to help with energy bills, supporting 3,704 tenancies and 205 homeless cases, and costing approximately £574,623. An allocation of £500,000 to East Dunbartonshire Leisure and Culture Trust to deliver free gym and swimming access between November 2022 and March 2023. In addition, further funding will be provided to organisations involved in the cost of living support, including £10,000 to support the local food bank, an additional £50,000 for the Citizens Advice Bureau locally, £50,000 for the Community Grant Scheme to help organisations mitigate the rising cost of living. The Council is also developing warm hubs locally, working with East Dunbartonshire Voluntary Action. This Week in History, read by Ian. October the 5th, 1927, the Labour Party voted to nationalise coal mines at its party conference in Blackpool. On this day last year, the NHS announced it would be releasing a revolutionary life-changing drug treatment for sickle cell disease to thousands of people in England. October the 6th, 1981, Muslim extremists assassinated Egyptian President Anwar Sadat. October the 7th, 1959, Lunik 3 took to the first pictures of the far side of the moon. On this day last year, England footballer Marcus Rashford was shortlisted for a prize at the Books Are My Bag Readers' Awards. October the 8th, 1967, the first breathalyser test in Britain was administered to a motorist in Somerset. On this day last year, a new study found that daily meat consumption in the UK had fallen by almost a fifth over the last decade. October the 9th, 1940, Beatle John Lennon was born during an air raid in Liverpool. October the 10th, 1957, a major radiation leak was detected at the Windscale nuclear plant in Cumbria after an accident 3 days earlier. On this day last year, blood donation was to be made more inclusive with the removal of a question branded outdated, unnecessary and actively discriminatory. Cruden steps up. Cruden Building, part of the Cruden Group, has offered its assistance to local schools in East Dunbartonshire by giving their outdoor community areas a new look and installing brand new facilities to benefit pupils. Working in partnership with East Dunbartonshire Council, the work was carried out at Laresland Primary and Holy Family Primary. Both schools are located nearby to the Kerr Street and Blackthorn Grove developments in Kirkintilloch, where Cruden is building 44 new affordable homes. The community benefits team at Cruden work closely with the school staff and head teachers to identify areas which could be used to enhance learning and social interaction for pupils. Offering their support, Cruden Building donated and installed new materials within each school, creating vibrant, refreshing spaces for pupils to enjoy. Laresland Primary School saw the team replace 3 old mud kitchens with new ones. Soil in the school's large planters, which are used for growing plants and crops, was replaced. At Holy Family Primary, Cruden upgraded the school's outdoor learning area, cutting back existing vegetation and installing 2 new planters, allowing the area to be used to its full capacity, offering the children a dynamic space for socialising and learning. Anne Davey, Deputy Chief Executive of East Dunbartonshire Council, said, "The work that Cruden has done with pupils in these schools is an excellent example of community partnerships in action. Outdoor play and learning is such an important part of school life, with great benefits for physical and mental health. I'm sure the children and staff of these 2 schools will enjoy using them even more now." Cruden prepared the area in the infant garden and delivered 2 large planters, soil and bedding plants to make sure that they were looking good from the very start. Michael Palethorpe, Community Benefit Manager at Cruden Building, said, "It was our absolute pleasure to be able to lend a helping hand to Holy Family and Laresland Primary Schools. We always do our best to give back to the communities where we are building, and being able to improve the learning facilities for local school children has been extremely rewarding."
New cost of living website. Strathkelvin and Bearsden MSP Rona Mackay has welcomed a new website launched this week to provide vital information on the wide range of financial support and advice available to local people. Developed by the Scottish Government as a one-stop shop to support those struggling with the cost of living crisis, the website includes information on help available for households to meet rising energy, housing and other costs. Local SNP MSP Rona Mackay said, "The cost of living crisis has left people, including many of my constituents, not knowing which way to turn. The Scottish Government's new cost of living website is a trustworthy online resource with information on the wide range of vital support available. It spans a range of support for energy bills, childcare, health, travel, and social security payments not available anywhere else in the UK." Ms Mackay added, "The cost of living crisis is impacting every household across the whole of the UK, and the Scottish Government will continue to do everything within its powers to ensure people are supported as far as possible." Scotland National Director for Christians Against Poverty, Emma Jackson, said, "We are deeply concerned about the impact of rising costs on low-income households. The new website is a welcome step in helping people to find and access all the vital support that is available to them, including steps to maximise income. Visit gov.scot/cost of living support." Read by Alan Todd.
Unison accepts new pay offer. Unison members, the largest local government union, have voted to accept COSLA's pay offer in a ballot of all local government members across Scotland. In an incredible 64% turnout, the results are as follows. Those voting to accept the pay offer, 67%. Those voting to reject the pay offer, 33%. Unison will now work with employers to ensure that pay increases are included in salaries as soon as possible. Once the union is satisfied, we will notify employers that the local government strike notices will be withdrawn. Joanna Baxter, Unison Scotland Head of Local Government, said, "Unison members have spoken and voted overwhelmingly to accept the improved pay offer, and we now press COSLA to get this money into members' pay packets as soon as possible. But let's be very clear, it was only because Unison members took, and were prepared to take, industrial action that this improved pay offer was even made. If they hadn't stood up to their employer, they would have been forced to accept a derisory 2% increase. It was their collective strength that forced the Scottish Government to accept they had a role to play and come up with more money, but it should never have got to that. The lesson to take from this is that local government and the workers that serve our communities need to be funded properly, and Unison will continue to lead the campaign for investment in councils and for staff to get the pay, reward and recognition they deserve.
Maths Week. Maths Week Scotland returned for its 6th and biggest ever annual event last week. Pupils, community groups and families in East Dunbartonshire enjoyed an exciting range of maths-themed activities and events across local schools, science centres and museums. Part of the Scottish Government's drive to encourage positive attitudes to numeracy and maths, Maths Week Scotland is developed and delivered by National Museums Scotland. This year the Small Grants Fund, a partnership between the Edinburgh Mathematical Society, the Glasgow Mathematical Journal Trust and the Scottish Government, has supported 67 different classroom activities for schools to encourage pupils to think about maths in a creative way. The theme for 2022 was the beauty of maths, focusing on the creative and inspiring side of the subject. MSP applauds Soroptimists. The work of the Kirkintilloch branch of the Soroptimists, an organisation dedicated to empowering women and girls, has been praised by their local MSP. Strathkelvin Bearsden MSP Rona Mackay visited the local group recently to speak about her work and about the plans by the Scottish Government to introduce a misogyny bill in Parliament. Kirkintilloch Soroptimists are committed to help end all forms of violence which affect women and girls disproportionately. SNP MSP Miss Mackay said, "It was a pleasure to speak with the ladies of Kirkintilloch Soroptimists. They do incredible work locally and as an international movement."
Extra £150 will be paid. Thousands of people on disability benefits in East Dunbartonshire are set to receive £150 from this week as part of a government package to help with the cost of living crisis. People with disabilities are facing some of the worst impacts of the cost of living crisis, having more care and mobility needs than the general population. The Department of Work and Pensions estimates 7,000 individuals in East Dunbartonshire can expect a payment from this week, with the government saying that the vast majority of those eligible will have received it by the start of October. Those who already receive a qualifying disability benefit will be paid automatically. The new Chancellor, Kwasi Kwarteng, described the scheme as providing vital support to shield the most vulnerable. The payment comes in addition to a plan announced by Prime Minister Liz Truss on September the 8th to freeze energy bills at £2,500 for the next 2 years. Despite this, some have called for more support, including disability charity Scope, who said that a £150 payment won't touch the sides for many living with disabilities. The charity said they had been inundated with calls from disabled people wondering how to keep warm this winter. He warned the soaring cost of energy could have a devastating impact on the health of people with disabilities if they are forced to keep the heating off. This week's payment is a separate to the £650 cost of living payment, the first instalment of which landed over the summer. The government said in July that 5,100 were eligible for that payment in East Dunbartonshire, including those on universal credit, job seekers allowance, and those receiving child tax credits. In total, the DWP estimates around 6.3 million people are eligible for the disability payment, including 607,000 in Scotland. Those eligible for the payment include people on May the 25th were receiving the Disability Living Allowance, Personal Independent Payment, Attendance Allowance, Scottish Disability Benefits, Armed Forces Independence Payment, Constant Attendance Allowance, or the War Pension Mobility Supplement.
Healthcare warning. NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde, NHS GGC, has issued advice to all freshers and returning students to ensure everyone gets the right access to healthcare during their studies. The Student Health Checklist provides students with useful hints and tips on key services within NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde and how to use them most effectively. As thousands of new students come to study within NHS GGC, it is important they familiarise themselves with the healthcare system to ensure they take the correct course of action if and when they need to access healthcare. The full checklist and more information can be found at the Health Board's new dedicated Student Health Hub. The guidance comes as the Health Board faces unprecedented demand on unscheduled care services, with an influx of new students expected to result in additional pressures on A&E services during Freshers' Week and throughout our term use. Alongside finding their nearest pharmacy and learning about mental and sexual health services available to them, students are being urged to register with a local GP to ensure they have access to primary care when they need it. The Health Board is also highlighting the virtual A&E service, which provides emergency care to patients through video and telephone, helping save them a trip to a physical hospital and a potentially long wait before they are treated. The service can be accessed via NHS 24 by calling 111. Dr Kerry Naylan, Deputy Director for Primary Care across NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde, said, "Every year, students are welcomed from far and wide to study at universities and colleges. While we want them to enjoy themselves as they settle in, we also need them to take note of some key health information. It's easy to forget that you need a local GP and you need to know what our different services are on offer. It's particularly important for anyone coming to study from outside the Health Board area within Scotland or from further afield where they may be used to a different way of accessing healthcare."
Third representative. The Scottish Episcopal Church will be invited to appoint a representative to help shape educational policy in East Dunbartonshire. The Council's Education Committee includes appointees from head teachers and teaching staff, PTA members and young people, as well as 3 religious representatives. Barbara Jarvie and William McCready have been nominated on behalf of the Church of Scotland and Roman Catholic Church respectively. According to census records, the next largest religious group in East Dunbartonshire is the Episcopal Church, so it will also be invited to appoint a delegate. The other nominated members so far are Grace McGill, head teacher of Holy Trinity Primary School in Kirkintilloch, and Dreen Bamford of the EIS, and Young People's representative Sophie Gartshaw. The Parent Council Forum is expected to confirm the PTA representative early this month. MSP reacts. Following last week's mini-budget by new Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng, there has been mixed reaction. Neil Bibby, Labour MSP for West Scotland, said, "The Tories over the last 12 years have got it wrong. Presiding over years of austerity and economic decline, the Chancellor's statement is an admission of that failure. It's hard to think how they could make matters worse, but the Chancellor and Prime Minister have abandoned any notion of redistribution and levelling up. Tax cuts for those earning over £150,000 a year, scrapping bankers' bonuses and cutting corporation tax is not the answer and are the wrong priorities. It's a budget for millionaires by millionaires. This is casino economics that, if it pays off, will benefit the richest few in society. Families and modest incomes will be furious."
Funding is available. Miller Homes will donate £10,000 to charities, community groups and causes linked to its developments in the west of Scotland, including Ellismuir Garden and Ellismuir Park in Broomhouse, Millerbank and Clydebank, Newton Fields in Cambuslang and Stonyetts Village in Moodiesburn over the next year. The leading home builder has announced the creation of a community fund, allowing groups to apply for funding to support their projects. From local sports teams looking for sponsorship, nurseries looking to equip their garden, or perhaps a food bank in need of additional supplies, Miller Homes wants to support its neighbours across the Glasgow area. The fund will officially launch on Wednesday 28th of September, covering all of Miller Homes developments in its Scotland West region. Applications for this first round will close on Friday 11th November, after which donations between a minimum of £250 and a maximum of £2,000 will be awarded to the successful applicants. 2 funding rounds will take place each year in June and November, and applications will be accepted throughout the year. Each of Miller Homes' 10 regional offices across the UK will have its own £10,000 fund, which combined will contribute £100,000 to community initiatives across the country every year. Louise Caldwell, Sales Director for Miller Homes Scotland West, said, "Community is a core value at Miller Homes. We put passion into building quality homes, creating new neighbourhoods, and take pride in supporting residents to make Glasgow a better place to live. We're fortunate to have many inspiring groups across Glasgow doing everything they can to improve their community. From supporting vulnerable members of society to enhancing the green spaces for families to enjoy, our community fund will help as many of these projects as we can. We're encouraging organisations of all shapes and sizes to reach out and tell us what we can do to support their mission. To make an application to the fund, visit www.millerhomes.co.uk/corporate/community-fund. That's www.millerhomes.co.uk/corporate/community-fund.
MSP applauds bus scheme. Ross Greer, the Scottish Green MSP for the West of Scotland, has welcomed the positive impact of his party's free bus travel scheme for people under 22, which has already benefited 8,340 people in East Dunbartonshire. Almost 500,000 young people across Scotland have enjoyed over 21 million journeys. Scotland is the first country in the UK to offer free bus travel for young people. It was introduced in January, following negotiations between the Scottish Greens and the Scottish Government. Ross Greer, the Green MSP for East Dunbartonshire, said, "I am delighted that so many young people in East Dunbartonshire have signed up for free bus travel. With Greens now in the Scottish Government are delivering these positive changes which are providing new opportunities, supporting family budgets and helping the planet. Free bus travel is helping hard-squeezed households and individuals at a time when incomes are being stretched on so many fronts."
Sporting events. UCI Cycling World visits. The world's best cyclists will savour some of Scotland's most spectacular scenery next year, with the men's and women's road races taking in Edinburgh Castle, the Wallace Monument, the Kelpies and Loch Lomond en route to the finish line at Glasgow's George Square. For the first time ever, this unique UCI Cycling Worlds bring together 13 existing UCI World Championships into a new mega event held in Glasgow and across Scotland. We'll close with the Women's Elite Road Race on Sunday the 13th of August 2023. Edinburgh and Loch Lomond were unveiled as official venues and starting locations for the Elite and Under 23 categories of the road races at the 2023 UCI Cycling World Championships. On arrival into Glasgow, the cyclists will tackle a 14.4 km technical city circuit with punchy short climbs, a total of 193 metres of climbing per lap, and an iconic finish at George Square. In total, the main elite will cover a distance of 277 kilometres with 3,167 metres of climbing, while the women's elite, which includes the women's under 23 category, will race 157 kilometres with 1,913 metres of climbing. The men under 23 riders will cover more laps of the city circuit than the women, for a total of just under 172 kilometres and 2,123 metres of climbing. The main elite road race will be held on a Sunday the 6th of August 2023, starting at the awe-inspiring dormant volcano Arthur's Seat, and then progress through central Scotland before proceeding down the popular cycling route of Crow Road on the way to the thrilling technical circuit in Glasgow, where they will finally cross the finish line at George Square. The Women Elite Road Race, including the women under 23 riders, as well as the men under 23 road races, will see the starting line at Loch Lomond, with the peloton leaving the gateway to the Trossachs National Park and heading towards Fintry. Riders will then climb as they pass through Stirlingshire and then into East Dunbartonshire, following the route as they head into the final 62km stretch to the Glasgow circuit. Entering from Glasgow's West End, the road race route navigates the city starting with a climb to Park Circus and panoramic views across Kelvingrove Park before heading to the city centre. The circuit then takes riders back west, passing the Gallery of Modern Art and traversing Buchanan Street before taking in the iconic Kelvingrove Museum and Art Gallery and the University of Glasgow. The riders will then conclude with an exciting finishing straight at George Square. The road race for the men under 23 will take place on Saturday the 12th of August 2023, with the Women Elite Road Race, which includes the Women under 23 category, closing this inaugural and history-making competition on Sunday the 13th of August 2023. The junior road races take part in the Glasgow circuit on Saturday the 5th of August. The junior men will complete 9 laps, 129 kilometres, and the junior women's 5 laps, 72 kilometres. Stirlingshire, steeped in history, will host the individual time trials from 9 to the 11th of August, which will take place in a typically British time trial course. There are volunteering opportunities at all venues, including the newly announced venues of Edinburgh and Loch Lomond. For more information, visit www.cyclingworldchamps.com/get-involved/volunteer-with-us. UCI President David Lapartient said, "With less than a year to go, it is fantastic to be able to help to visualise the courses. The challenging routes will guarantee the show that the organisers had promised. The athletes now have a clear vision of what awaits them in the battle for the rainbow jersey next year." Paul Bush, chair of the 2023 UCI Cycling World Championships, said, "The announcement of Edinburgh and Loch Lomond as starting venues for the inaugural 2023 UCI Cycling World Championships further demonstrates this is truly a pan-Scotland event for everyone to come along and enjoy. Glasgow and Scotland are global leaders in the delivery of innovative and world-class major events. Set against the backdrop of some of the country's most iconic and spectacular cities and locations, these historic championships are sure to capture the imagination of athletes, spectators, and audiences around the world and showcase why we are the perfect stage for events." Leader of Glasgow City Council, Councillor Susan Aitken, said, "The road race events at the 2023 UCI Cycling World Championships will be a real highlight of our sporting calendar, with stars from across the continent competing." Scottish athlete Nia Evans, who became the first Scottish woman to win 3 medals at the same Commonwealth Games in Birmingham this summer, including silver in the road race, said, "When I started cycling, I trained on the roads around Balloch. I'm so excited for the best racers in the world to compete in some of the most scenic surroundings of Scotland." Stirling Council leader, Councillor Chris Kane, said, "The announcement of the time trial route in Stirling is an exciting milestone as we build up to the world's biggest ever cycling event next year. This unprecedented sporting spectacle will showcase all of Stirling." For further information on the UCI Cycling World Championships, visit www.cyclingworldchamps.com. New deal accepted. GMB Scotland members across local government have voted to accept the improved pay offer, which led to the suspension of waste and school strikes earlier this month. Following a 2-week consultative ballot of its 20,000 plus membership across Scotland, local government, workers backed the offer between unions and the First Minister by a majority of 81%. It will deliver a flat rate increase of over £1,900 for all workers earning less than £39,000 a year, based on a 36-hour working week, backdated to April the 1st, 2022, and represents a significant improvement on the previous 2%, 3.5% and 5% across the board offers. Senior organiser Keir Greenaway said, "Our members have accepted the offer negotiated by unions and the First Minister by a clear majority."
50-50 response to tightening rules on vaping. The Scottish Government's consultation on tightening rules on advertising and promoting vaping products has now been published. The consultation, carried out earlier this year, sought views on proposed regulations which aim to strike a balance between protecting non-smokers and making information available to smokers. The Scottish Government is considering introducing tighter restrictions on vaping advertising and promotion. The 757 responses brought back polarising views, with around 50% supporting the proposals and 50% against. Holyrood is also currently refreshing its tobacco action plan with the aim of Scotland becoming smoke-free by 2034, meaning fewer than 5% of adults would smoke cigarettes. Figures suggest the number of people vaping in Britain has now reached 4.3 million, a record level. There's evidence more young people are taking it up. Research by Action Against Smoking, ASH, found in 2022 that around 7% of 11 to 17-year-olds were vaping, compared with 4% in 2020. Sheila Duffy, ASH Scotland Chief Executive, said, "We want to see action to enact the advertising and promotion restrictions which were already passed by the Scottish Parliament and became law in 2016. At a time when we hear reports of a significant rise in young people using disposable vapes, these measures are urgently needed." Promoting novel products is one clear way in which the tobacco industry is reaching out to future generations of potential consumers. Measures like those consulted on to curb the advertising and promotion of recreational novel products is vital to protect youngsters from being enticed into experimenting. Research shows that young people who try e-cigarettes are at a much higher risk of later using tobacco. Smoking accounts for 16% of all deaths in Scotland. Sheila added, "The World Health Organization has expressed concerns that children who use the products are up to 3 times more likely to use tobacco products in the future. The longer-term health harms from vapes is still largely unknown. Less harmful is not harmless."
Silage competition. Agrisot's hotly contested silage competition is now open, with organisers anticipating a bumper year for entries. Farmers have until Monday, October the 17th, to submit their silage analysis to sponsors and organisers Watson Seeds, and have 4 categories to choose from: beef and dairy clamps, big bale, and a young farmer class for those under 26, which can be submitted from any cut of silage. Entries will then be whittled down to 3 finalists within each category, with the winners being announced during AgriScot, following a live forage analysis. Organiser Andrew Best said, "Home produced forage is still the cheapest feed you can have and, with production costs spiralling, will prove critical to keeping costs down." All entries should be sent no later than October the 17th by email to abest@watsonseeds.com. Are you ready for a party at the fort? Scotland's favourite children's theatre company, the McDougalls, are coming back to Bishopbriggs this October with a spectacular new show for all the family. Woohoo, we're having a party! It's the party of the year! Come and celebrate with Max and Auntie Aggie, the stars of the show, as they get ready to throw the biggest and best party ever, and you're invited to join the fun. Max is busy putting up decorations, and Aunt Aggie is revelling in her role as the party planner. They've posted out the invitations, but which magical characters will turn up? Max McDougall, one of the show's stars, said, "We are so excited to come back to the Fort Theatre. Earlier this year we visited with our underwater show and we had so much fun. Now everyone can join in and have a great time at our party show. If you've never been to see the McDougalls before, the kids, and you, will love it. Packed with sing-along songs and games such as Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes, Jelly in a Plate, and, of course, the Hokey Cokey. This is the perfect treat for your little ones this October, filled with audience participation and musical mayhem. And, if you have a birthday coming up, there's even a chance for a shout out as the McDougalls lead the crowd in a rousing rendition of Happy Birthday. Find out more about this musical extravaganza, plus the latest news and offers, by following the McDougalls on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. A magical day out for kids up to age 8 and their families. Children, and even grown-ups, are encouraged to come dressed in their snazziest party outfit. Tickets, Tuesday the 18th of October 2022. Bishopbriggs Fort Theatre. Tickets £9. Tickets may be purchased online, and organisers recommend you do so at www.ticketsource.co.uk/what's-on/the-fort-theatre-Bishopbriggs. Duration of show 1 hour. no interval. Phone mast. East Dunbartonshire Council has received an application for planning pre-approval for a phone mast in Kirkintilloch. C.K. Hutchinson Networks is seeking prior approval for the 15-metre mast on land south of Ivanhoe Drive, citing its special status as an electronic communication code operator. The application describes the pole as mounted on a new root foundation with a wrap-around cabinet built around the base of the street pole. It also includes a power transmission cabinet and GPS module mounted on top of the structure. Further information on this application can be viewed on the Council's website, where it is the reference number TP/ED/22/0655. At time of writing, no comments from members of the public or statutory bodies had been published.
Family announcements. Deaths. Cunningham, Isabel. Suddenly at her home on Thursday, September 22nd, 2022, aged 76 years. Mother to Billy and David, and loving gran to Harris, Ellie, and Leela. The funeral will be held on Friday, October 7th, 2022, at 12 noon at Daldowie Crematorium, Glasgow, G71 7RU. Dobby. Irene Janet. Peacefully at Whitefield Nursing Home, Lennoxtown, on September 21st, 2022. Irene, nee Stephen, loving mother to Robert, Alan and Graham, dear grandmother to Ellie, Jane, Harry, Archer and Everett. Memorial service on Thursday, October 6th at Campsie Parish Church, Lennoxtown, at 11 a.m, thereafter to Glazert Bank Hotel, due 12 noon. All friends warmly invited.
County Lines campaign highlights exploitation. A new campaign has been launched to highlight how criminal county lines gangs target young people and exploit them to carry cash, drugs and weapons. It has been spearheaded by Crime Stoppers in partnership with Network Rail and British Transport Police. The campaign aims to raise awareness of county lines, a method used by criminals to expand their drug networks to Scottish cities and towns. County lines refers to the use of a single telephone number to order illegal drugs operated from outside the local area. This is having a massive impact in Scotland's towns and cities, and also in vulnerable young people and adults who are being exploited. Young people often transport cash and drugs all over the country so that the criminals behind them are less likely to get caught. Many travel by public transport, which is why Network Rail has pledged its support and is encouraging staff and passengers to become familiar with the signs of exploitation. The gangs often set up a base in a rural area for a short time, taking over the home of a vulnerable person by cuckooing and use adults and children to act as drug runners. Law enforcement across the UK, including here in Scotland, has made significant arrests of people involved in this type of activity. Many vulnerable adults and children who have been coerced into these activities have been safeguarded. The campaign will use a series of Spot the Signs posters, postcards and social media tools to help raise awareness of the issue across Scotland. Angela Parker, Scotland National Manager for the independent charity Crime Stoppers, said, "County lines isn't necessarily a term people are familiar with, but as a charity it's important that we raise awareness of this issue and help tackle it. Gangs coming into our communities here in Scotland are not welcome. We want to ensure that if they do decide to set up their operation here, that your information can help get them removed and keep our communities safe. When you contact us, we won't judge or ask personal details. All we want to know is what you know. We guarantee you remain 100% anonymous, always. If you have any information about people who have recently moved into Scottish communities to sell drugs, contact Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. That's 0800 555 111. Or use the simple and secure anonymous online form at crimestoppers-uk.org. Minister for Community Safety, Ash Regan, said, The Scottish Government, along with partners in Scotland's Serious Organised Crime Task Force, is committed to continuing to bring justice to those who supply illegal drugs and cause untold harm to vulnerable individuals and communities. Detective Superintendent Gareth Williams, British Transport Police's County Lines Task Force lead, added, "County Lines gangs target young and vulnerable members of society and exploit them to run harmful drugs between locations which can be hundreds of miles apart. As a force, we are dedicated to safeguarding those exploited in this type of crime, to pull them away from harm's way and away from a life of crime." Opinion. Let's talk. The Kirkintilloch Herald letters page, date Wednesday the 5th of October 2022. Promises of 2014 have all been broken. Sir, in 2014, Scotland was promised all sorts of benefits when we agreed to stay with the Union. We would be able to stay in the EU, we would benefit from the strength of the UK economy, we would punch above our weight on the world stage, and our electorate bought that by a slim margin. Now we are out of the EU, we are tuned to a UK that is headed for self-destruction, and we are seen as a failing state by the international market. The US is not exactly rushing to make a trade deal. We are cut out of collaboration with EU scientific research and EU security intelligence. The English electorate have saddled us with an incompetent government of right-wing fanatics. Surely now, even in this part of Scotland that has so often voted Tory, it must be obvious to all that we could do better governing ourselves. It is hardly credible that we could do worse. If you doubt that now, just think about it again as the economy collapses and the homes of people you know are repossessed thanks to trusts hijacking the economy. Yours, etc., David Curry, address supplied. Labour must commit to rejoining EU. Sir, Labour won't gain any seats in Scotland if they fail to commit to joining the EU, as Brexit is a major factor in the continual economic decline of the UK, and fail to accept the Scottish Parliament's democratic mandate to hold a referendum on our future. Labour Shadow Northern Ireland Secretary Peter Kyle has said he would be prepared to call an Irish border poll if certain conditions are met. He said he would set out the criteria required for calling a referendum, which can be held every 8 years, and is currently in the gift of the Northern Ireland Secretary, providing if it can be demonstrated that a majority desire this. "I am saying I am not going to be a barrier if the circumstances emerge," he told the BBC at a Labour Party conference. In Wales, Mark Drakeford has defended Welsh Labour's cooperation agreement with Plaid Cymru. Following last year's election, the two parties thrashed out a 3-year deal to address issues which take the greatest political and policy effort to resolve. Wales First Minister Drakeford said that while they did not agree on everything, they focused on those areas where progressive parties can agree. The dinosaurs in Scottish Labour need to spell out the pathway to an independence referendum, as the latest social attitude report showed that 4 in 10 Labour supporters back independence for Scotland, and in every poll, a majority of all voters under 55 support independence. Time is running out for the Union. It is completely illogical to state you'd never do a deal with the SNP to ensure a Westminster majority, while Labour happily sit in power in some councils thanks to informal deals with the Tories. Yours, etc., Mary Thomas, address supplied. Tory Ace card destroyed once more? Sir, in the 90s, the UK was in the exchange rate mechanism, a kind of forerunner of the euro currency. Our rejection from it destroyed a Tory Ace card, its reputation for economic competence, which helped lead to the debacle election in 1997. With the Trust mini budget, we may be in similar terrain. Yours, etc., William Ballantyne, by email. Astronomical cost of saving 400 jobs. Sir, Nicola Sturgeon's fallback position in the ferry scandal is that she is proud to have saved 400 Scottish jobs. These, through no fault of the workforce, are now estimated to cost the mouth-watering sum of about £0.75 million each. She could, a little bit of hindsight here of course, alternately have given each worker a redundancy payment of about £0.25 million and, still, on current reckoning, have had £200 million to purchase 2 ships elsewhere, which would probably have been now serving the islands. This would also have spared the Ferguson workers the embarrassment of producing a ship with fake windows and funnels just to provide a publicity launch stunt for our FM, which raises the question of the added cost of doing and then undoing this fakery nonsense? What a mess. Yours etc. E. McCormick. Address supplied.
Everyday cycling in the frame to 2030. The Scottish Government has launched a 12-week consultation on its new draft cycling framework. The document sets out the priorities for everyday cycling to 2030, supporting the active travel vision where communities are shaped around people walking, wheeling and cycling for shorter everyday journeys. This new approach builds on the previous Cycling Action Plan for Scotland. The draft framework highlights 6 key areas where progress needs to be made and explains actions which need to be taken to achieve them. It builds on the programme for government, including the provision of multi-year funding, providing options to local authorities seeking to undertake more ambitious infrastructure projects, and the improved cycling storage fund to accelerate the rollout of safe and secure storage options for communities across Scotland, all supporting the Scottish Government commitment of reducing car kilometres travelled by 20% by 2030. Minister for Active Travel Patrick Harvey said, "We're taking urgent action to increase cycling rates in order to respond to the climate emergency, tackle transport poverty, and live healthier and happier lives." This draft framework outlines the steps we will take as a government to rapidly increase rates of cycling right across the country. We've already raised funding for active travel to record levels, and we've committed to investing £320 million, equating to 10% of the total transport budget by 2024-25. What's critical is that we spend this money in the right way and in a way which all local authorities and partners can get behind. Over the next 12 weeks, I look forward to the constructive feedback of our active travel delivery partners, local authorities, community groups and individuals on how we can best increase everyday cycling in Scotland. Interest and enthusiasm for cycling as a way to tackle some of our most complex problems has never been greater. Now is the time to have your say. Visit www.transport.gov.scot/cycling-framework-for-impact-assessments-consultation. That's www.transport.gov.scot/cycling-framework-for-impact-assessments-consultation. Please be aware of energy bill scams. Scots consumers have been urged to be aware of cost of living scams as the Energy Bill Support Scheme gets underway. The first instalment of the UK Government's £400 discount on household fuel statements was applied on Saturday, October the 1st. Individual energy suppliers will administer discounts for customers and make payments over a 6-month period to ensure consumers receive financial support through the winter. Advice Direct Scotland, which runs the national consumer advice service consumeradvice.scot on behalf of the Scottish Government, said it expects to see a surge in fraudulent attempts to manipulate struggling households. There are already several scams circulating relating to different sources of support, many of which claim to be from energy regulator Ofgem or other organisations. Advice Direct Scotland said it's important to remember that consumers do not need to apply for the discount. No household will be asked for their bank details to process payments or to receive their rebates and should not supply this information. Consumers should also avoid clicking on any links in emails or text messages as these can take them to cloned websites that have the intention of stealing their personal or financial information. More information on the Energy Bill Support Scheme can be found at www.energyadvice.scot. It's www.energyadvice.scot. The Scam Watch quick reporting tool is available to report suspected scams and suspicious activity at www.scamwatch.scot. That's www.scamwatch.scot, or contact Police Scotland on 101.
Groundbreaking cancer diagnostics. More than 7,500 Scottish patients are benefiting from two groundbreaking diagnostic services that are helping them access cancer checks closer to home. Both the colon capsule endoscopy service and the use of cytosponge means that patients can get scope results by simply swallowing capsules. In colon capsule endoscopy, CCE, patients swallow a small pill cam that takes 50,000 pictures of the bowel as it passes through the digestive system, helping to identify early signs of cancer. The images are transmitted to a recording device worn on a belt around the patient's waist, which is then returned to the hospital where images are reviewed. The capsule passes through the patient's bowel before being flushed away. Professor Angus Watson, consultant colorectal surgeon and national clinical lead for colon capsule endoscopy, said, "Scotland has led the way for CCE in the UK. The service continues to innovate with plans for home delivery, artificial intelligence reading of images, and digital coaching of patients using phone applications. Cytosponge, a small capsule which is attached to a fine string, helps to identify important esophageal conditions such as Barrett's esophagus. After swallowing, the capsule coating dissolves in the stomach to release a small brush which, when removed, allows cell collection from the lining of the esophagus, gullet or food pipe, which are analysed for abnormalities. Supported by NHS Golden Jubilee's Centre for Sustained Delivery, CFSD, both innovations are collaborative between health, academia and industry and are available across NHS Scotland. Breast check to help save lives. New research by Breast Cancer Now has revealed that 2 in 5 women in the UK do not check their breasts regularly for possible signs and symptoms of the disease. Worryingly, fewer women are regularly checking their breasts now compared with similar research from last year. When asked what stops or prevents them from regularly checking their breasts, the main reasons women gave included forgetting to, 42%, not being in the habit of checking their breasts, 31%, lacking confidence in checking their breasts, 18%, and 15% said they didn't know how to check their breasts. According to the YouGov survey commissioned by the charity, a quarter of those who do check their breasts for possible signs and symptoms of breast cancer don't feel confident that they would notice a new or unusual change in their breasts. With breast cancer being the most common cancer in women in the UK and incident rates rising, Breast Cancer Now is calling on all women to get to know their normal by regularly checking their breasts so that they're able to spot any new or unusual changes sooner. 2/3 of breast cancers are found in women noticing new or unusual breast changes and getting these checked out by their GP. The sooner breast cancer is detected, the greater the potential of treatment being successful and more lives being saved. Manmeet Basser, Breast Cancer Now's head of public health, said, "Our latest research reveals that multiple barriers continue to prevent women from checking their breasts regularly, and fewer women regularly check their breasts now than a year ago. It's so important that all women feel empowered to attend breast cancer screening appointments and to regularly check their breasts in between mammograms. While most breast changes won't be cancer, when they are, the sooner it is diagnosed, the better the chances of successful treatment. Checking your breasts only takes a few minutes, and we suggest women do it regularly. There's no right way to check. It's as simple as TLC. Touch, look, check. For more information, visit breastcancernow.org/TLC. District News, General. Holyrood View. Tory mini-budget only helps the rich. By Ross Greer, MSP. Inflation and bills are skyrocketing. The Bank of England has been forced to step in. The International Monetary Fund and the US Treasury Department have issued stark warnings, and many providers have stopped issuing new mortgages. It's safe to say that the Tories' mini-budget has been a total disaster. I'm quite sure that in the days between my writing and your reading this column, things will only have gotten worse. Although I can't but hope they will have been forced to U-turn. Compare the shambles at Westminster to the programme published by the Scottish Government at the start of September, which is decided to help those most in need rather than make the rich even richer. In East Dunbartonshire, the average 2-bedroom property rent has risen by a massive 24% in the last decade to £721 per month. With costs increasing once again, Green ministers are stepping in to help tenants with an emergency rent freeze and evictions ban until at least March the 31st. This will be taken forward by Scottish Greens co-leader and Minister for Tenants' Rights, Patrick Harvey. Over the next few years, Patrick is leading the biggest expansion of tenants' rights since the devolution, including the right to decorate their own home, to keep pets and, most importantly, a permanent system of rent controls. This support for tenants comes on the back of green wins that are already in effect, for example free bus travel for people under 22. Since its introduction in January, the scheme has already benefited 8,340 young people in East Dunbartonshire, over half of those eligible to sign up. Sign up now at freebus.scot or contact East Dunbartonshire Council on 0300 123 4510. Free bus travel helps hard-squeezed households at a time when incomes have been stretched on so many fronts. It also reduces pollution, making your communities healthier and reducing carbon emissions. With air pollution resulting in thousands of premature deaths every year, and some of the worst quality air being in Renfrewshire streets, the public health benefits of getting more people out of their cars and onto the bus are obvious. The contrast between the unfolding disaster at Westminster and the progressive, competent work of the Scottish Government couldn't be clearer. Society of Antiquaries. The next meeting of the Kirkintilloch District Society of Antiquaries will be on Thursday, October the 6th at 7:30pm in the Park Centre. The speaker will be Professor Niall Logan, who will give a talk on some early local residents of the district. We look forward to welcoming members and visitors to our first meeting of the new session. Members will be able to collect their membership cards for the 2022-23 meeting. Bishopbriggs, Musical Memories. Musical Memories Springburn has restarted its happy music and singing sessions for people affected by dementia and their carers. We meet every Monday at 2pm at Springfield Church, opposite Springburn Rail Station, and are led by a musician and some singing leaders. Like many other socially worthwhile projects, we were closed during lockdown, but we can now welcome folks with dementia and carers back for some fun. This is an award-winning project, Times Community Champions, which provides live music and snacks with refreshments and is led by a friendly volunteer team. This is a time for carers to do something with their loved one, and not only for them. We have our own specially printed songbooks, and we sing some Scottish songs and some popular standards of yesteryear. Musical Memories Springburn is well funded and is totally free to those who join with us. Due to COVID safety measures, we are running with slightly lower numbers than before for everyone's safety, but we still have room for the small number of extra folks. We sometimes have some gentle movement if you are able and willing. It's absolutely optional. McNamara's band is our favourite. Our project has been praised in the Scottish Parliament. If you are interested in this fun Monday, just pop in to try it out or call Brian on 0141 563 5511. Encouraging more girls to cycle. A Scotland-wide campaign, #AndSheCycles, is encouraging more teenage girls to cycle for everyday journeys. Launched during the Cycle to School Week, the digital campaign celebrates the mental, physical and environmental benefits of cycling. While cycling provides clear advantages, teenage girls have been reported they chose not to cycle because of negative stereotypes, a lack of role models, and low levels of confidence. The campaign is designed to create an online community for teenage girls, thereby boosting their confidence. The @AndSheCycles Instagram account empowers followers to share their experiences of cycling and relate to like-minded individuals. Scotland, my land. Schools and youth groups have been invited to get creative and take part in the Scottish Land Commission's myland.scot competition. In connection with Scotland's Year of Stories 2022, young people are being encouraged to highlight how land local to them is owned, used and managed, and how it impacts their everyday lives in Scotland, now and in the future. Young people have been tasked to find places close to them that are of importance to themselves and their community, using them as inspiration for their competition submissions. It could be farmland, forest, a high street or empty site. The My Land, My Story competition is on the hunt for entries that highlight the history of a certain area of land, showcasing its past, present and future, and why it matters to the young people living there. 2 winning groups will be selected by the Scottish Land Commission and each be awarded £500 to facilitate production of the films outlined in their submissions. The finished films will be projected in Edinburgh in the late autumn. For more information, go to myland.scot.
Planning notices. East Dunbartonshire Council public notices. The East Dunbartonshire Council, Springfield Road, Bishopbriggs, temporary closure, Order 2022. On the 4th of October 2022, the East Dunbartonshire Council made the above-named order under Section 14 (1) of the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1984 as amended, which makes it unlawful for any person to drive or cause or permit to be driven any motor vehicle, with the exception of emergency service vehicles, vehicles engaged in the works, and those vehicles requiring access to properties adjacent to the closed section of road when it is safe and practical to do so, on Springfield Road between its junctions with Oak Park and Muir Street, by reason of works being executed on or near this road. This order will operate from 8 a.m. on Sunday the 16th of October until 6 p.m. on Sunday the 23rd of October 2022. Alternative route. Alternative routes will be way of Springfield Road, Menteith Avenue, Woodhill Road, Westercleddens Road, South Crosshill Road, the A803 Kirkintilloch Road, Colston Road, the B812 Auchennairn Road, and these routes will be signposted. Local internal alternative diversion routes will also be signposted. SGD Karen Donnelly, Chief Solicitor and Monitoring Officer, Legal Services, East Dunbartonshire Council Headquarters, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Civic Government (Scotland Act 1982. Application for grant of public entertainment licence. The undernoted has applied for the grant of a public entertainment licence in the terms of the above Act. Name and address of applicant: Kevin McMillan, 61 Stirling Avenue, Westerton, G61 1PF. Premises: Avalon Cottage, Bumaldy Road, Bishopbriggs, G64 3QQ. Day-to-day manager: Kevin McMillan, 61 Stirling Avenue, Westerton, G61 1PF. Types of entertainment: children's nature/animal educational sessions, birthdays and craft events for small pre-booked groups. Dates and times of operation: Monday to Sunday, 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. Any objections or representations in terms of paragraph 3 (1) of Schedule 1 of the Act should be logged with the undernoted no later than 28 days from the publication date of the newspaper in which this advertisement appears. Deputy Chief Executive, Education, People and Business, East Dunbartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. East Dunbartonshire Council, Notice of Intention to Adopt the East Dunbartonshire Proposed Local Development Plan 2, as modified. Town and Country Planning (Scotland Act 1997), as amended. And Town and Country Planning, Development Planning, Scotland Regulations 2008. The Council proposes to adopt the East Dunbartonshire Proposed Local Development Plan 2, as modified. The proposed plan has been modified following receipt of the report of examination from Scottish ministers. The proposed plan, as modified, together with the modifications, may be inspected during normal opening hours at all local libraries: Bearsden Community Hub, Bishopbriggs Community Hub, Kirkintilloch Community Hub, Lennoxtown Community Hub, and can also be viewed on the Council's website at www.eastdunbarton.gov.uk/residents/planning-policy/local-policy/local-plan-2. If you have any queries, please contact development.plan@eastdunbarton.gov.uk or telephone the Land Planning Policy Team via customer services on 0300 123 4510. Again, that phone number is 0300 123 4510. Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Heather Holland, Executive Officer, Land Planning and Development, Council Headquarters, South Bank Marina, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, Glasgow G66 1TJ. The East Dunbartonshire Council, Bishopbriggs, Kirkintilloch, Milton of Campsie and Torrance Schools. Waiting and loading and no stopping. Order 2022. On 29 September 2022, the East Dunbartonshire Council made an order under the Road Traffic Regulations Act 1984, which comes into operation on Monday, the 14th of November 2022. The proposed order was advertised in the Bishopbriggs Herald and the Kirkintilloch Herald that were published on the 16th of July 2021. The main effect of the order would be to introduce the waiting and loading restrictions and no stopping restrictions on sections of road in the vicinity of 1. Middleburn Primary School, Bishopbriggs, 2. St Matthew's Primary School, Bishopbriggs, 3. Westercleddens Primary School, Bishopbriggs, 4. Gart Corner Primary School in Kirkintilloch, 5. Holy Family Primary School in Kirkintilloch, 6. Craighead Primary School in Milton of Campsie, and 7. Torrance Primary School in Torrance. A copy of the order and plans detailing the lengths of road affected may be examined without payment of fee in the road section of the East Dunbartonshire Council website. Any person wishing to question the validity of the order or any provisions therein on grounds that the order is not within the powers conferred by the Road Traffic Regulations Act 1984, or on the grounds that any request of that Act or of any relevant regulations made thereunder has not been complied with in relation to the order, may, within 6 weeks from the 29th of September 2022, make application to the Court of Session for this purpose. Karen Donnelly, Chief Solicitor, Monitoring Officer, Executive Officer, East Dunbartonshire Council Headquarters, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. The East Dunbartonshire Council, Linhee Avenue, Ochil Road and Thrums Avenue, Bishopbriggs. No waiting and no loading restrictions and amendment. Order 2022. On the 29th of September 2022, the East Dunbartonshire Council made under the Road Traffic Regulations Act 1984, which comes into operation on Monday the 14th of November 2022. The proposed order was advertised in the Bishopbriggs Herald that was published on the 16th of July 2021. The main effect of the order would be to introduce no waiting and no loading restrictions on Ochil Road and Thrums Avenue as detailed in the schedule below, and to amend the existing order to extend the present no waiting and no loading restrictions on Linhee Avenue from the extended west curb line of Woodhill Road westwards for a distance of 37.5 metres. A copy of the order and plans detailing the lengths of road affected may be examined without payment of fee in the roads section of the East Dunbartonshire Council website. Any person wishing to question the validity of the order or any provision therein on grounds that the order is not within the powers conferred by the Road Traffic Regulations Act 1984, or on the grounds that any requirement of that Act or of any relevant regulation made thereunder has not been compiled with in relation to the order may, within 6 weeks from the 29th of September 2022, make application to the Court of Session for this purpose. Karen Donnelly, Chief Solicitor and Monitoring Officer, Executive Officer, East Dunbartonshire Council Headquarters, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Schedule: no waiting and no loading, 8 a.m. until 9:30 a.m, 2 p.m. until 4:30 p.m, Monday to Friday. Lengths of road within East Dunbartonshire. Side of road to which restriction applies. Auchen Road. From the extended north curb line of Thrums Avenue towards the entire length of the road. Both sides of the road. Thrums Avenue. From a point 15 metres west of the extended curb line of Ochil Road, eastwards to a point 15 metres east of the extended east curb line of Ochil Road. Again, restrictions apply to both sides. The East Dunbartonshire Council, Market Road and Christian Road, Kirkintilloch, proposed traffic calming measures. East Dunbartonshire Council, in terms of Section 37 (2) of the Roads Scotland Act 1984, hereby give notice of its intention to install 3 flat-top speed tables on Market Road and Christen Road, Kirkintilloch. The flat-top speed tables will be constructed flush with existing road curbs and ramped on all approaches. Full details of this proposal, together with a plan, are available for inspection without payment of fee in the roads section of the East Dunbartonshire Council website. Telephone inquiries to 0300 123 4510. Any person wishing to object to the proposal should send details of the grounds of objection in writing to Chief Solicitor and Monitoring Officer, Legal Services, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ, or by emailing legalservices@eastdunbarton.gov.uk. Again, that is legal services, then the @ sign, then eastdunbarton.gov.uk by Friday the 4th of November 2022. Karen Donnelly, Chief Solicitor and Monitoring Officer, East Dunbartonshire Council Headquarters, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Members' surgeries. Councillors' arrangements for interviewing residents. Ward 7, Kirkintilloch East and North and Twecker. Stuart MacDonald. 12th of October, The Hub, William Patrick Library, Room 1. 5:30 p.m. until 6 p.m. 12th of October 2022, Heerstains Huts, 6:15 p.m. till 6:45 p.m. Ward 7, Kirkintilloch East and North and Twecker. Susan Murray. 8th of October, Hillhead Community Centre, 9:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. 10th of September, Twecker Healthy Living Centre, 11:30am until 1pm. Between surgeries, counsellors can be contacted at the Members Support Unit on 0300 123 4510. Again, that number is 0300 123 4510. Planning applications. Format: application number followed by address/location, followed by proposal, followed by type of advert, followed by period of reps. TP ED 220632 7 Ingleside Lenzie, East Dunbartonshire, G66 4GN. Installation of solar panels to south-facing roof slope, Section 65, affecting CA, 21 days. The application plans and other documents can be viewed online through the Council's website. The current restrictions on non-essential office work associated with the coronavirus pandemic means that plans cannot be viewed in Council offices as normal. Written comments may be made within the above period to the Council through the Council's website or to the above address. Any representations will be treated as public documents and made available for inspection by interested parties, and may also be published on the Council's website. Peasy team up with Erskine. An article written by Brian Yule and read by myself, Corey. Scotland's largest veterans charity, Erskine, has become the charity sponsor of Peters Hill, with its logo emblazoned on the sides strips and veterans invited to attend games. As well as featuring on the front of the club's shirts, the charity is also set to benefit from regular bucket collections at home matches. Jim Watrant, Royal Navy veteran and Peters Hill Vice President, was the man behind the partnership. He said, "It is fantastic to see Scotland's largest veterans charity getting involved with one of Glasgow's most successful semi-professional clubs. Everyone involved with the club is looking forward to hosting the veterans at the game in the near future." Erskine Chief Executive Wing Commander Ian Cumming added, "Everyone at Erskine is delighted with our new and exciting link with Peters Hill FC. My team and I are looking forward to attending a game or two at Peters Hill Park over the course of the season, and I know that many of our veterans will also be down to support the site in a imitable way." Erskine provides nursing, residential and dementia care for veterans and their spouses in homes throughout Scotland. It also assists younger veterans with social, recreation and training facilities at its activity centre and employment opportunities in partnership with Scotland's bravest manufacturing company. To find out more about the charity's work, visit www.erskine, that's erskine.org.uk. Peters Hill are still looking for their first win of the season in the WOSFL Premier Division after losing 4-1 at home to Clydebank on Saturday. The away side took the lead after 17 minutes as Chris Black was first to react to the rebound from a Connor Higgins shot. Peters Hill equalised in the 38th minute as the Bankies' defence failed to clear Jordan Scott's corner, and Craig Lyke volleyed in from close range. 3 minutes after the break, the visitors went in front again as Little Nicky scored from the spot after Black was fouled. In the 80th minute, Higgins set up Fraser Johnson to slot home the third, and 3 minutes from time, Josh Weir added the fourth. Peters Hill travel away to Arthuley on Saturday. That article written by Brian Yule and read by me, Corey. Heavy loss as Tigers miss out. Glasgow Tigers lost 110-69 on aggregate to Pole Pirates as they missed out on a place in the SGB Championship playoff final. The Tigers were heavily beaten 60-30 in the rearranged first leg at Pole last midweek. The away side mustered just 2 heat winnings and 1 race advantage, as they struggled to rein in the rampant Pirates, who were quicker out the gates all night. The tone was set with 2 opening 5-1s from the home team, and by the time 7 races had been complete, the lead had stretched to 16. It took until Heat 9 for a Tiger to chalk up a race win, and guest Paul Stark headed home Steve Worrell. But there was to be no revival, as the Pirates put 3 more maximums on the card before a 4-2 in Heat 15 gave Glasgow their only advantage of the night, courtesy of Craig Cook and Ben Basso. Needing just 31 points from the second leg to set up a meeting with Leicester in the final, the Pirates racked up 50 at Ashfield on Sunday. The injury-hit Tigers could only muster 39 points, going into the match without Ulstrich Ostergaard and Deon Hume, and then lost Tom Brennan halfway through the meeting after a crash. The Tigers have one final league meeting to complete the rain-affected away match at Plymouth, which will not impact any final placings, which was due to take place last night, Tuesday. Cammy Brown's men are also due to compete in the final of the Jubilee League against Leicester and Pole, with the details to be confirmed. Clare longlisted for prestigious award. An article written by Brian Yule. Former Glasgow City striker Claire Shine's book, Scoring Goals in the Dark, has been included in the long list for the William Hill Sportsbook of the Year award. Shine hung up her boots last month at the age of 27, making her final at Petershill Park in the win over Hearts. Over her 2 spells, she made 105 appearances and scored 70 goals, including a hat-trick in the 2015 Scottish Women's Cup final and the winner of the 2019 final. The Republic of Ireland international has spoken openly about her own mental health problems, and in the past 18 months has been a key figure within the Glasgow City Foundation. Shine will continue her work with the Foundation as project coordinator to help with the club's charitable plans and ambitions. She will also lead the Foundation's role model work in the community, helping to inspire the next generation of girls to be whatever they want to be. Shine said, "As athletes, we always have high standards and push ourselves to the limit every time we step out onto the pitch. I have given football everything I have for 22 years, incredible highs, but also intense lows. Throughout the last few years, I've struggled both mentally and physically to reach the demands as a professional footballer, and with that I have decided it is time to put myself first and step away from football. My happiness and well-being needs to come first, and I'm excited to begin the next chapter of my life. I would like to thank everyone who has played a part in my incredible journey as a footballer, and who have supported me through the good and the bad. I am proud of everything I have achieved, and I am looking forward to new beginnings and setting new goals." Shine wrote Scoring Goals in the Dark with Gareth Maher, Communications Manager at Football Association of Ireland. This is the story of someone trapped in a world where the weight of expectancy and the battle with personal demons was all washed away, albeit temporary whenever she put a ball in the back of the net. Shine tweeted, "I am honoured that my book, Scoring Goals in the Dark, has made the long list for such a prestigious award. The shortlist will be unveiled on October 29th, with the winner declared on December 1st at an official award ceremony in London. On the pitch, Glasgow City made it through to the quarter-final of the Sky Sports Cup with a 5-0 win at home to Aberdeen. Priscilla Chinchilla opened the scoring after 31 minutes as she found the net at the back post from a Lauren Davidson cross to give the home side a 1-0 lead at half-time. Davidson then doubled the lead after 62 minutes with a penalty after Chinchilla was fouled by Don's keeper Alya J. Meach. After 73 minutes, it was 3-0 as Emily Whelan found the top corner, and with 12 minutes to go, Spanish midfielder Beatriz Paredes Inza came on to make her debut, having arrived from Villarreal on Friday. On 82 minutes, Davidson volleyed in a Chinchilla cross, and 4 minutes later, Michaela Moore headed in Hayley Lauder's free kick to round off the scoring. That article written by Brian Yule. Rob Roy missed the chance to go top. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy missed the chance to go top of the WOSFL Premier Division as they lost 2-1 at home to Cumnock. The home side took the lead as Michael Haber's cross from the right ailed into the net. The visitors equalised before half-time as Greg Ferry headed in and then won it in the second half with a Jordan Moore diving header. Rob Roy are away to Auchinleck Talbot on Saturday. Rossvale earned their second point this season in the First Division with a 2-2 draw away to St Rochs. A Fraser Malcolm double had the away side 2-0 up by the 36th minute, but the hosts came back to equalise before half-time. Rossvale Academy lost 2-0 at home to Easterhouse Academy in the 4th Division. Rossvale host Thorny Wood United on Saturday, while Rossvale Academy are away to Glenvale. West Park United won 2-0 win away to Harmony Row in the 4th Division. West Park are at home to St Peter's on Saturday. Ashfield had to settle for a point at home to St Anthony's in the 2nd Division. Craig Young and Bobby Barr put Ashfield 2-0 up, but the visitors came back for a share of the spoils. Next up is a trip to league leaders Renfrew on Saturday. Glasgow Pershore beat Glasgow University 4-2 at home in the 2nd Division. Stuart Anderson and Josh Kelly both scored injury time to claim the 3 points, after David Kirkwood and Jamie Patterson had earlier found the net. Pershore are away to Kilsyth Rangers on Saturday. Group helps to stop litter reaching our waterways. The sun shone for Walk, Run, Cycle in and around East Dunbartonshire as they conducted a litter pick around the Luggy area in Kirkintilloch last month. Local members of the group came together to support Keep Scotland Beautiful's September initiative, Source to Sea, and their efforts helped clear over 20 bags of rubbish. With an estimated 80% of marine litter originating on land, Keep Scotland Beautiful states that it is important to tackle litter where it is being dropped at source, before it is given the chance to reach our rivers and waterways. If you are part of a community group, or an individual or family who would like to borrow the organisation's litter pickers, get in touch via the Walk, Run, Cycle in and around East Dunbartonshire group on Facebook, or, alternatively, email WRCED2020, again that's WRCED2020, all lowercase, at gmail.com.
Thank you for listening to this week's Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, brought to you by Q Review Print Speaking to the Blind. If you've any feedback, you're welcome to call us on 0141 772 3976. If you enjoyed this recording, feel free to subscribe to our channel.